Electoral reforms in India. In this module, let's understand the main issues with the Indian election system and the proposals for their reform. Elections are the foundation of any democratic setup. It is a means for people to express their aspirations and choose their representatives. As the largest democracy in the world, elections are particularly significant for India. India's electoral strength in 2009 during the 15th general elections was 714 million, which is larger than the European Union and United States electoral strength put together. Elections are indeed a significant moment for the nation's future. With such a large electorate, holding free and fair elections in India is a difficult task. The Indian electoral system faces several problems. Let's look at these challenges and the suggestions for their reform. Use of money. In a meeting with students, Dr. Kalam asked them why they did not want to join politics. One student said, "I need a lot of money to join politics." This response represents how citizens perceive the role of money in elections. Money plays an important role in elections. It is used for campaigning, lobbying, even to buy candidates and votes. It has been observed that rich candidates and those backed by large industrial houses often have an advantage over other candidates. However, not every candidate can spend money. So, the role of money should be minimized to make it affordable for everyone to stand for elections. One solution is state funding of elections. Another solution is to ban or restrict donations by business houses to political parties. The Election Commission recommends a few more measures to curb the role of money in elections. Candidates should disclose their income and assets. Candidates should maintain accounts and get them audited. The Election Commission should be empowered to fix a ceiling on election expenses before every general election. Criminalization of politics. Criminal in politics? Isn't it shocking? But this is a fact. In every election, several candidates with criminal records contest and even win elections. We can see the criminalization of politics from the fact that of 543 candidates elected to the Lok Sabha in 2009, 150 MPs have criminal cases against them. The Election Commission recommends that candidates with criminal backgrounds should be disqualified from contesting elections. Lack of provision for negative voting. Suppose you don't find any candidate suitable to be elected, what can you do? Who should you vote for? The Indian election system does not provide voters with the options of none of the above or negative voting. This means that the voter has to vote for someone or decide not to cast the vote at all. To meet this deficiency, the Election Commission is considering the provision of negative voting. According to this provision, the voter must have the option of rejecting all the candidates while exercising his or her vote. A basic version of negative voting is provided in Rule 49(0) of the Conduct of Election Rules 1961. According to this provision, a voter can decide not to vote, but this facility is not available with electronic voting machines. Hence, the voter is required to reach the concerned presiding officer for this purpose. However, it does not have much effect as it violates the principles of a secret ballot. Paid news. Any article in the print or electronic media which transmits favorable information about a candidate or political party that has paid for it is called paid news. This is a malpractice because it looks like a news item, but it has an advertisement in disguise and thus cheats readers and viewers. The Election Commission wants paid news to be declared as an electoral offence. Low voter turnout. A higher voter turnout is seen as a sign of a healthy democratic system. However, during elections, urban voter turnout is lower than rural voter turnout. Cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Chennai and Ahmedabad observe low voter turnout. To increase voter turnout, there is a proposal to make voting compulsory. Conduct of free and fair elections. To conduct free and fair elections, the Election Commission ensures issuing error-free voter ID cards, preventing booth capturing, rigging and intimidation of voters, preventing the carrying of firearms and the sale and distribution of liquor on polling day, prohibiting campaigning 48 hours before the elections. Committees. The Government of India has appointed several committees to propose reforms in the electoral system. Some committees are Tarkunde Committee, Dinesh Goswami Committee, Indrajit Gupta Committee. Lack of consensus about political reforms. Although several suggestions for reforms have been made, there has been no consensus about their implementation. However, these reforms must be considered seriously and put into action to strengthen India's democratic tradition. Civil society and voluntary organizations. Procedural reforms alone are not enough. Both Indian citizens and voluntary organizations also need to be vigilant and active to help the process of conducting free and fair elections. Thus, we can see that political will and active participation is required to make elections in India free and fair. It is upon the political class, civil society and citizens of India to ensure that elections truly represent the carnival of democracy in India. Let's recall what we have learnt. Elections are at the heart of democracy. Challenges to the electoral system and the suggestions for their reforms. Challenges: use of money, criminalization of politics, lack of provision of negative voting, paid news, low voter turnout. Reforms proposed: government funding of elections, restriction on donations by business houses to political parties, disclosure of income and assets by candidates, disqualification of candidates with criminal backgrounds, provision for negative voting to be made, paid news to be declared an electoral offence, make voting compulsory. Committees appointed by Government of India for electoral reforms. Tarkunde Committee, Dinesh Goswami Committee, Indrajit Gupta Committee. Civil society and voluntary organizations also play vital role in the election process.